So, everyone watching, all the teams that are here, welcome to the semi-final of the challenge by UNFCCC Enhancing Climate Resilience. So, before we get started, I want to make sure all of you are here, all of you feel ready, hopefully, and I'll let you know that you, as the teams, have to bear in mind that you have 5 minutes for the pitch, and then we have 2 minutes for a Q&A from the jury. The jury is already here, so I would like to welcome all of you. It's very nice to have you here. We're very happy about that. Can I see if the first team is ready already? So the first team is accelerating action. Are you all here already? Can we see that? Let me see. Yes, perfectly. Tom is here. Perfect, Tom. Are you the one presenting the pitch today?
Yes, I am, Lydia. Hi,
Perfect.
everyone. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So I would say if you feel ready, all right, try to share your screen if you do so. And let's get started then.
Great. If you give me, 1 moment, I'll share
Just make sure.
tab. Okay. I'm going to start my own stopwatch as well, so hopefully that'll
Okay, perfect. I have one with me.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, cool. Just wait for it to load.
No
Okay,
worries.
hi everyone. Thanks. And present tag tool. So I'm over the next 5 minutes going to give you a very quick run through of the background and benefits of the tool. But in essence, it's about taking the global goals, the SDGs, and accelerating local action to help achieve them, because I think there's a gap there that we see currently. The team, there's 5 of us. We're a good match of understanding content, sustainment, business development, also software development as well, including our newest director, who's already the CEO of a software company as well. So
So pardon for just coming in between. How about the jury? Can you hear him acoustically? Is it clear for you?
Thank you, Lydia. It's not very clear for me, and sometimes it's because of the camera that takes too much data.
Okay.
Let's try to have to hear you clear as possible. Yeah, maybe that's better. So I can just give you the chance of starting again. No worries, Tom.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully the judges, hopefully everyone can hear me a little bit clearer now. I've turned off my...
Much better.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah, right. Then it was my my camera then. Okay, good that we found the problem. Okay, so you can still see my screen. I will start again just in case you didn't catch any at the start. Just to say, yes, my name's Tom Lindsay, director, founder of Accelerating Action. We have Jamie, I think, on the call today as well, who's our product lead. And we're going to talk to you about the SDG tag tool very quickly, of course, about the backgrounds and benefits, but just to remember that this is really taking the SDGs, including SDG11, and through local action globally, helping local actors help achieve and contribute to the SDGs. So as already mentioned, one of us, the team members, Jamie, who's on the call, but between the 5 of us, we've got a good balance of subject and sustainable urban development, business development, and software development as well. The tool came from, I've spent just over the last 10 years in particularly urban resilience, but really sustainable urban development, mainly in philanthropic organizations like the Rockefeller Foundation's 100 Resilient Cities, through to more lately C40 cities. And through that work, working globally with local authorities, I saw a real gap in how everyone understood what the SDGs were and why they were important, but there was no real guidance on how to deliver local action in line with the SDGs. So I set out to create the SDG tag tool primarily firstly to help myself help deliver them. Then I realized that actually it could be helpful for others as well. And so this is why we set this up last year. In terms of the SDGs and why they're important, I think we all know that, but just as a reminder, the way we like to think about it is if numbers are the language of science, languages like English and others, of course, are language of business. Then the SDGs are the language of sustainable development. So it really helps that we can translate our work into what it means for the SDGs. We're already part of a really great global network as part of UNDRR's Making Cities Resilient campaign. I hope that we can be part of the Global Innovation Hub too. And we have a host of great users already. This is something that's already out in the world helping others. And we got some great feedback, which I won't go into. In terms of what the tag tool itself is, it's about taking those SDGs and translating them, your actions, policy, physical projects, and translating them into what. And just to say, it's a browser-based tool. So if you're wondering what exactly it is, that's what it is. There's several benefits. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'll choose just one, which is the first one, which is build better briefs. This is really important. There's a lot of tools out there that help you assess and measure impact, but don't do the next step, which is help improve your impact as well. And that's something I think that we've done quite well with through the tool. Who's it for? It's for everyone, really. It's anyone who wants to make an impact but doesn't know where to start. So that's from beginners to experts. And all kinds of impact. I've already mentioned policy and projects. So how do you make an impact? I think what I'm going to do is actually skip a few pages and show you what the tool is in terms of steps. I will point out that one of the main things here is actually, I'm not just talking about the goals. Unfortunately, a huge gap. I'm talking said under them. You'll see this time and time again. We'll talk about the goals, but very little understanding of what the targets mean and how we can help achieve them. So the current approach is there isn't one. The tag tool, what it does is it takes 3 steps to achieve. So you input, if you're the action owner, all your information on the you have on your action. You select the tags that are relevant for your action. So you'll notice there's no mention of the targets or the SDGs so far, because we think they're a bit of a barrier to understanding. And what we do from that is we then ask through those tags to shortlist from the full 169 targets, which ones are most relevant. Not just through SDG11, but all of them, because the targets are so integrated and indivisible. And you can go into a great level of depth with your assessment, or keep it light and quick. And what I'm going to show you is not just the outputs, the individual PDFs and collective databases showing what you achieve, but maybe one example I'll end on, because I know we've got 40 seconds or so left. So we piloted this with Athens, the city of Athens, last year with several departments, including the sustainability department. They had a climate action plan that they'd already created, but they wanted to do more than just the climate benefits. What other benefits could this project deliver? So we showed with just a 15-minute assessment, bear in mind, yes, they were helping deliver on climate, and we showed them exactly targets, which they may have not communicated previously. But we also showed them all the other targets that climate-related action can be delivering for the citizens of Athens, which is really powerful if you consider that climate action, climate resilience is so much about partnerships because of the interdependencies across many different systems. You need to be able to talk to lots of different stakeholders, and not all of them prioritize climate. So this was really, just to say, this took 15 minutes, no additional data needed, no additional knowledge of the SDG needed. And what we're doing through our work is trying to scale this and help as many people as possible understand what the SDGs actually mean and could mean. So I'll stop there, and I'm happy to take any questions for the next 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for presenting and pitching your guys' idea. At this point, I would say Q&A has started. If there are any questions from our judges, please feel free to ask Tom. Oh, Tom, are you still there?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm still here.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
just being quiet.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gyeong-ae, and I have one question to the Tom. And I think, Tom, you actually explained how your tool is actually workable, and it covers from the or everybody. And I see that from your example that you work with the cities, and how the tool actually is workable for the kids, right? Because you said that your tool actually covers the youth, or I think it also covers the students or the kids.
Yes. So it really depends on the user, how we do it. Often we we're very keen that the user takes full ownership and control, because there's just so many people that need it that I can't be in one place. But we also deliver through sort of curriculum enhancing projects with cohorts in universities. The most fast. We've helped the students then improve their projects so they understand how their projects can help meet the SDG targets. And most importantly, when they go on placement as part of their placement year, they can help actually, by training them on the tool, we can upskill them so that they can actually add greater value to the businesses or local organizations, local authorities that they are placed in.
Okay, thank you very much. And can you just, this is going to my last comment on that your answers. And do you actually have some examples with actually working with a tool with the students?
Yes, I do. I probably don't have time to show you. Connect afterwards if this is something that's in the competition. I have from a local NGO in Ireland, as well as example we have through universities as well, particularly Queen's Belfast. But yeah, we do.
Thank you.
Similar to the generic example I just gave about how we deliver the tool for their students.
So time is over. Thank you very much, Tom, for pitching your team's idea. Thank you very much. So at this point, I would say you can actually go back to the audience, and I will introduce and welcome the next team on stage. The next team, I hope I'm gonna pronounce it right. Otherwise, please correct me. It's CI Herb, I would say. So who's here from CI Herb? I guess you'll be on stage in a minute.
Yes, that's me.
Perfect. So, Evandro, just make sure everything works. Try to share your screen before starting.
Yeah, just give me a second. Seems like I'll have to share my whole screen. I hope you can see it.
I can see it. It works. Perfect.
Yes.
So if you're ready, I'm ready. And I would say you have 5 minutes for your pitch.
All right, thank you. My name is Evandro. I'm from CLURB, and I'm here to present you our tool HARD that makes disaster risk management simple. So I don't think I need to expand on the fact that we are currently facing a higher amount of disasters in impact caused by disasters. And although the good news is that we do have a few cities that have access to disaster warning systems, most of them actually don't, which cause a huge amount of losses and lives and properties that could be avoided, especially in the poorest countries. And the need to step up our game in terms of disaster action is widely recognized by, of course, quite a few different of the major agendas, but unfortunately, this reality hasn't been reflected in the ground. So to try to understand why that doesn't happen, let's imagine now that you are actually the city official in charge to take action against disasters in your city, and you're working with your team, and you have to do quite a few different things that include from mapping the different areas exposed to risk. You have to issue and receive warnings from citizens when a disaster is coming, and of course you have to coordinate response when the disaster happens. So basically the two options in summary that you have today are either you use whatever tool you have at hand, which means social media, office, for communication, for mapping, which although you can get somewhere and you can do something, but these tools are not made for this specific purpose. And if you're very lucky and you have enough resources to use very sophisticated tools such as ArcGIS or even hire consultancy firms, but the problem is only very few cities in the planet actually have this luxury. So what we do with HARD is that we combine the usability and flexibility of the simple tools with the technical complexity, and we simplify the technical complexity actually of the more sophisticated tools, and we combine and merge everything into a single platform that actually allows even the least resource cities in the planet to act in a very quick way against disasters, in a very quick way, in collaboration with different stakeholders and with limited external support. And we're sure that happens by having a web-based platform and a mobile app that actually has quite a few different features that facilitate the usage by different actors. No? So it's not only the city officials, but also citizens that can take an active part in inserting, analyzing, actually extracting and using that information to take action against disasters in different cities, which by the implementation of the tool, you, of course, at the local level, you have reduced loss of lives and property, which is the most important thing. But at the same time, you have an active and ongoing citizen engagement, allowing at the global scale for more cities to have and to take action against disasters at a much faster pace to address issues at the urgency and scale that climate change and other issues actually require. So we have already applied our tool in some of the most challenging environments worldwide, which actually confirms that the approach to really have something that is applicable even in the least resource context is actually working and quite successfully as well. But that in the end doesn't really come as a big surprise, because our team is led by experts that actually have a long-standing experience working in disaster risk management and other urban issues in more than 30 countries worldwide, and you have a very strong capabilities and data sciences as well in user interface and user experience, and of course in business development. So in terms of our strategy, we have a very clear target on B2G and B2B2G. So we work with quite a few governments at the local and national level around the planet, as well as NGOs and international organizations. And we offer our tool as a software as a service, so in a subscription kind of module, but as a project based as well. So we basically as a product, as a tool inserted into a wider context of a specific project for the cities that might be developing. So moving forward, we want to continue with the technological advancement of the tool, and we had some very interesting conversations with the Fraunhofer Institute and SAP as part of this initiative of this program. For example, adding features such as data mining that increase not only the autonomy of the use of our tool, but also the impact, of course, that it can have in the ground. And at the same time, we take this opportunity to make a call for action for engagement with initiatives such as the Global Innovation Hub to reach a wider portfolio of cities for application of the tool. So this will be it from my side, and of course I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You were right on time. So at this point, are there any questions from our jury?
Hi, Evandro. My name is Carla Solis from UNFCCC, Climate Change Secretariat. Thank you for your presentation. I see that you've been working you mentioned many countries, and I read in some of the documentation that we have received that one of the countries was Cabo Verde, where you apply your tool. And I wonder whether you can explain us very briefly the outcomes of this assessment, because it was about looking at the side effects of lockdown, of the COVID lockdown in the island. And the second question is about what do you envision, what you already has told us, sorry, what you envision next, but you mentioned that to us already. No, who are your main competitors? Is there any other organization that is working on similar and at similar level than your organization in disaster management tools? Thank you.
Right. No, many thanks, Carla. And I really like to talk about the experience in Cabo Verde, because in that specific case, we actually worked with the community association. It was not even the municipality, but the community association that actually took ownership and actually used the tool to protect and interact with the residents of their community during the first wave of the pandemic back in 2020. So basically, in that case, they used the tool for a more operational kind of a setting, not so much on the assessment side, but to really understand how, for example, the humanitarian help, the humanitarian aid that was available for the city was actually distributed to the people that actually needed the most. And actually also to engage from a peer-to-peer kind of a setting where the different residents that had something to offer, as help, for example, elderly people to go to the supermarket or these kind of things, they use the platform to do that as well. And all of this, again, was managed by the community association itself without much engagement from the government. In terms of competitors, I think my second or third slide sort of shows more or less the arrangement or the options that the municipalities have today. So either they use WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, and Microsoft Word, and these kind of very simple tools, which, I mean, you can call them competitors because this is something that the municipalities use today, to disseminate information regarding disasters. Or you have only very few cities that can use very sophisticated tools, which are extremely relevant and they're quite adequate. But once again, they're extremely complex and costly, so they are not accessible actually to most municipalities. So we wouldn't have any direct competitors. We don't have any other tools that actually are doing and have all of the functionalities that our tool has. And because generally speaking, they either do one of the components that we have, but never in an integrated way.
Thank you, Evandro.
Perfect. The time is also over. So at this point, I would like to thank you, Evandro, and introduce the next team presenting today. The next team is LAME. You can enter the stage now. I've seen some representatives of the team already. Just some more seconds.
Hello. Hello.
So, can you hear us?
Can you hear me as well?
I can hear you, Lucky.
Okay, perfect.
So, how do you pronounce your team name correctly? Is it Lame? No, it's not Lame.
It would be a way to pronounce. Why not?
Okay. So, are you ready? Can you share your screen?
Yes, I will now.
Okay, perfect. Then I will just keep time on track. Okay, we can get started.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm Laukik, along with Akil, Matve, Elena. And we are going to present to you Coral, which is basically coastal risk assessment algorithm. And this would be the very first version of it. So, okay. So what Coral is a two-part computational system of monitoring and adapting contexts affected by sea level rise, providing a framework for resource monitoring, evaluation, and adaptation of the same. So the aim of this project is to propose informed development strategies based on incremental design scenarios to mitigate the effects of sea level rise and maximize welfare in these contexts. So sea level rise, as we know, is a result of two factors, let's say global warming, and that global warming causing all the ice to melt and thus rising the sea level for every other context, right? So experts predict that a rise of around 2.4 meters is inevitable by the end of this century, which is going to affect different countries around the world and on different scales. So amongst all these countries that are going to be affected, the worst hit regions of the world would be these urban atoll islands. So in our applications, what we chose um, was an island of Tuvalu. Tuvalu is basically comprised of 9 islands, and one of this is also the capital of the country, which is Funafuti. And this proved to be a context. So, what the target groups that we are trying to address are the local inhabitants of these island countries, the local authorities that are going to benefit by this algorithm to be more effective about their mitigation strategies, and as well intergovernmental organizations like the EU and UN that provide very significant aid to these innovation countries. So the SDG11 was one of the major, let's say, inspirations for this project, especially the target 11.5 and 11.6. As for the competitors for this solution, what we look at is 4D Islands, which is a project that only gathers data about these contexts to transfer them into digital, let's say, stimuli, and as well as the Velia Earth that also works in this realm. But what we think Coral stands out for are chaining all these analysis and problem identification with a solution strategy. So, as for the scaling plan, we would like to mention beforehand that even though Coral was an inception of sea level rise, we think it has potentials to serve beyond this just one natural disaster, let's say. So to explain what Coral does is it identifies all the resources which would be, let's say, built form, unbuilt form, natural resources, open land, and transfer them into a rich map, which basically is a compilation of all of the data. We then simulate this rich map against a natural disaster, which in this case is the sea level rise. So as you see, time progresses and the sea level is kind of visualized on the rich map. And as for the second part of this solution, we kind of discretize the island. In this case, it is a grid of 50 by 50 meters, which we think is which can be improved when the solution would be applied in a real life scenario. These discretizations help us identify the resources in let's say each quadrant, and then have strategies to let's say relocate them according to the sea level rise. So in conclusions, we would like to also express that this research, this project kind of also enables us to partner with industries that are let's say expert in these fields, and it also is a good approach to the intergovernmental organizations to help make their aid more effective to these contexts. And in closing, we would like to say that it's a project developed in the academic realm at this point, and it has more potential to be developed at a future stage. That would be it.
Thank you so much, Loki. So for the Q&A, I would kindly ask the judges, the jury, if you have any questions for the team.
Lauki, Carla Solis here. One question, tell me, how do you expect to generate income? Who are your main customers? You mentioned about local authorities, individuals, also
Yeah.
international organizations. But what is your business model?
Okay. So the way we plan to implement this is in the form of a website and also an mobile application at a later stage, which would help, let's say, the local inhabitants, which would basically tie a link between the intergovernmental organizations that are providing aid to the local authorities and the local authorities that are then providing aid to the inhabitants. So we think a lot of financial aid is being provided at even at this point to these countries, but it's not effective. Let's say it's a point aid, but not something that is sustainable in the long run. So what this would help the organizations to effectively provide solutions for these countries.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, or should we continue? I think we can go on. So thank you very much, Lucas, for your
Great, thank you.
presentation, and see you later. So let's see. We have the next team coming to the stage is the team Project 2.0. Let's see who's coming. Perfect. So there's Shaika from Kuwait, I see. Can you hear us already? Because we can't.
Hello.
You're still mute. Oh, right. Okay. Now it works.
Yes. And also my other team members.
Okay, perfect. Is it you and Taiba together?
And also Dalal.
Dylan. Unfortunately, Dylan is not in our session right now. So we'd kindly ask both of you to just start and maybe cover his part of the pitch, because he's not here with us, not in the call. Or she, sorry, I don't know. So Shaika and Taiba, are you ready? Can one of you share the screen?
Yes. Taiba,
Oh, now he's done. Oh, okay, now I see.
Is Dalal here?
Dalal is now here. I can invite him to the stage.
Yes, thank you.
So in the time being, maybe you can just organize the screen sharing and get ready for the pitch. I'll just set up the time until we're all ready. So Dalal, you're also on stage. Welcome. Perfect. We can see your screen.
Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. So I would say if you're ready, let's just start. 5 minutes pitch.
In 2021, the temperatures topped 53 degrees Celsius, making Kuwait the hottest place on Earth. When it comes to the climate crisis, Kuwait is a land of superlatives. It is one of the highest per capita generators of waste, with 1.5 kg of waste generated per person per day, twice the global average. Landfill burials, even today, remain as the most prominent method of waste disposal. Under the brutal, unbearable summer that is yet to arrive, thousands of migrant workers will scurry along in intense heat, disposing waste manually and exposing themselves to lethal conditions in landfills. Kuwait is also one of the highest per capita emitters of carbon dioxide. Though it has pledged to reduce emissions, it still falls short of action. Landfills emit significant amounts of methane. Almost 90% of the country's waste ends here. There is no segregation happening at any level. Lack of accessible recycling options, unavailability of timely data, and inadequate awareness are compounding environmental strains. The problem is systemic. We need to begin change at the grassroots level.
And for change to happen at the grassroots level, we need a solution that is accessible and involves community to create an impact. The linear model of consume and dispose is no longer serving the country. We need an upgrade. Therefore, we present to you our Startup 2.0, an all-women-led digital platform that is transforming the trash ecosystem to enhance climate resilience. Our service has two aspects, a digital application and a segregated smart bins at prime locations. The digital application offers a value of connectivity and accessibility to recyclers, upcyclers, composters, food banks, and thrift stores to redirect trash from entering in landfills and in turn reducing emission of methane from accumulated trash. At the same time, providing a way to utilize the access to those in need and can have access to quality food and things no longer required, thus meeting the core needs. It also allows for locating the nearest drop-in stations, that is smart bins, and gaining value through behavioral motivations and incentives like redeemable vouchers will be rewarded to users. Our smart bins that are contactless and running on solar power will allow for easier sorting for segregation with AI. Sanitation workers will no longer have to depend on labor-intensive methods. Information on emission is an absolute requirement in meeting climate goals and reducing emissions. The bin will be embedded with a greenhouse gas measuring and air quality monitoring sensors. The amount of carbon dioxide emissions generated by transportation of waste decreases as well due to the reduced volume of waste provided and optimized waste collection routes. Frequent measures and monitoring of greenhouse gas emissions, wider availability of data will allow everyone to understand and comprehend climate change at an individual level. The app will also offer measurable waste diversion rates, provide a complete tracking of how simple actions are contributing to make a difference. Our method promises innovation, and it's novel due to its components that are integrate climate, circular economy, climate resilience, and transformative technologies. Over time, the data points will enhance our actions to achieve net zero waste and emission and drive social and behavioral change. We need to begin now, and our next step is to develop the app and launch it. The diversity and speciality in our team will make it possible for the app to be developed in-house with minimal to no funding. We have charted a sustainable business model to keep bringing in enough revenue to outweigh our cost. The solution is implementable. The technology already exists. We just need to bring them under one umbrella, and with the right recognition and collaborates, it can be scaled. Investments can be attracted to build the latter phases.
2.0 is an all-women team. Dalaltep and I bring diversity in thoughts and perspective. As a cross-functional team, we cover the areas of psychology, behavioral science, computer engineering, application development, design, and business administration that helped us to develop an innovative solution. Kuwait faces the threat of turning into a barren, unlivable landmass. It is the world's richest country with just over 4.5 million people. It's not the lack of resources that stand in the way of cutting the greenhouse gases or reducing the waste, but rather inaction. Migrant workers make up around 70% of the country's population, are the most vulnerable and at a greater risk from the fatal consequences climate change brings. It is an emergency to act. We need you to help us to move forward and mobilize action. So, what will you choose to do?
Thank you so much. You see all the applause coming up for your presentation. At this point, as before, are there any questions from our jury?
Thank you very much for the presentation, ladies. I have a question regarding whether, I think there aren't, but I want you to tell us whether there are any competitors that are doing similar activities, elaborating or preparing these different smart tools. And if there aren't, whether you are applying or you got the idea from another situation in another country. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there are no competitors in Kuwait, although there are recyclers. We don't have any competitors who are doing activities that we have discussed in the presentation. Yes, we did adapt this idea from different aspects of recycling facilities in different countries, not just from one place. We thought of having an application just like how Uber does, or how food delivery apps does, like bringing in all the restaurants together. We thought, like, why not bring all the recycling companies in Kuwait that does not have proper reach to the customers? Why not bring that into our idea and make it into something that works on an app, so it's easy for people to use. At the same time, recycling becomes an habit, because we don't have that in our country. It's more like a behavioral change that we're bringing in through this. I hope I answered your question rightly.
Yes, thank you so much, Dalal. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. The time is now over. So thank you for your pitch. As before, you can now leave the stage. I will hide you right away. And then our last team pitching in this semi-final is the team Skilled 3. I saw all of you guys already writing in the chat, communicating and interacting with the others. At this point, I would like to invite you to the stage.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Okay.
So, can you share your screen? Just give it a try.
Yeah. If I do this. Can you see my screen?
We can see your screen. We can hear you perfectly. So at this point, 5 minutes, it's your stage now.
All right. Okay. We know firsthand that many municipalities still are not planning for climate resilience. We were speaking to a representative of a city in the province of our headquarters in Rheinland-Pfalz in Germany, which decided to build gigantic parking lots for millions of euros like you would have in the 1980s, instead of investing in sustainable city infrastructure. When I got my second shot of the COVID vaccine, I went to a doctor that's based in this city, and in front of his office, there were brand new parking spots completely underwater following the extreme flooding events of last year. Cities and municipalities are actively investing in measures that are part of the problem, and even worse in this case, they're investing in infrastructure that could potentially be destroyed by extreme weather events that are going to become more frequent in the coming decades. Even though Germany has so many resources and possibilities compared to many less fortunate countries in the world, we're still struggling to make the right decisions on a regional level. We identified that there are fundamental issues that prevent municipalities and their communities to act in these extremely critical times. First, understanding of the problems at hand. Second, acceptance of the needed measures. And third, democratic participation models that involve all parties. In short, you need to create a mentality for change that removes decelerators from the equation. For this, we are developing the software ecosystem Skillpolis that aims to support cities and municipalities in tackling these problems and reaching the SDG11 goals and more. The following slides will show the 3 applications that make up Skillpolis and that have different target groups but connect them in one virtual place. So, Skillpolis is developed around our technology that generates 3-dimensional digital twins procedurally based on OpenStreetMaps data. We will work together with cities and municipalities to supplement these digital twins with cities' datasets. Skillpolis digital twins are extremely flexible and dynamic and allow for the display of the current, past, and even future status of a city, its assets, and its infrastructure. Digital twins are traditionally created using photogrammetry and other scanning technologies that only provide a static snapshot of a city. This is problematic because cities are living, breathing networks that evolve frequently. So our solution is as accurate and up-to-date as the underlying data, and its detail is scalable to any necessary use case, from very low detailed boxes all the way up to an exact photorealistic replica of the architecture. The resulting digital twins are designed from the ground up to be used for simulations, visualizations, and analyses of smart city processes. As you can see, there are as many potential applications and target groups for Skillpolis as there are stakeholders in urban development. For example, let's imagine that there was a digital platform with an accurate representation of the city where architectural offices or water utility providers and, let's say, road and traffic planning offices could work together and create prototypes and concepts in collaboration. They can create abstract connections between their disciplines and data sets that allow for data-driven decision-making. That's where we see Skillpolis. Through intuitive digital tools with a low entry barrier, Skillpolis will allow smart cities to become wise cities, because we'll empower city administrations to plan their infrastructure to prevent problems before they could even develop, like the parking lots I was talking about before. Furthermore, we will use our background in video game development to create engaging citizen participation applications based on our digital twin technology. We are developing a serious game. Serious games are video games that aim to impart knowledge or skills that explains the complex problems in urban development and communicates between citizens, experts, and administrations by playing your very own city. This development branch of Skillpolis is funded by the German Ministry of Traffic. Video games are the perfect medium to create awareness and competence in the field of urban development because you need to find ways to reach and involve as many people as possible. Video games have been the biggest market for entertainment media for years. Imagine if you could harness this potential to empower people to learn about sustainable urban development and then bounce the suggestions of citizens, experts, and administrations off of each other inside one software. In summary, we aim to provide a platform for sustainable urban planning that connects city administrations, stakeholders, and citizens, and this subsequently allows for transparent discourse that will be a catalyst for the solution to the three problems I was talking about before: understanding, acceptance, and democratic participation. Solving these problems will greatly speed up increasing climate resilience because it will set common goals through integrated, inclusive, and proactive planning. With the right partners, like the UNFCCC or the UN Global Innovation Hub, Skillpolis can directly contribute to 6 targets of the SDG11 and potentially even more. Thank you a lot for your attention.
Thank you very much, Frederick, for pitching the idea of Team Skill Tree. So, as before, I have 2 minutes for the Q&A questions from our judges.
Hello, this is Gyeonghae from the UNFCCC Secretariat. Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you very much for sharing your presentation. I have questions on your presentation, and you're actually talking about that your program actually helps for the sustainable urban planning, and you are doing so based on the having the games that people actually to participate, and so on. My question is that because every city has a different kind of urban design, and also the different types of the architectures. How do you actually targeting the different groups of the whole world, which has a different type of the urban design or architecture? How can you cover those? Considering that you say that you try to actually help all the world and covering all the world in that sense. Thank you.
So we are building the system from the ground up to be interoperable between different architectural styles and urban designs in different cities. So our digital twin software is, you're just going to have to believe me that it is that way. So we're developing it from the ground up to be interoperable and usable and scalable to different cities of many sizes and of many countries. And since this is already a basis that works with any imaginable city, this will also form the basis for the video game to be applicable to any citizen from anywhere. We'll also work on our software and our citizen participation models to be deployable and free to all citizens, and also usable on any end device probably through a browser application or an app on phones, tablets, or desktop applications. Does this answer your question?
Yes, I think because as you said, it's very challenging to actually cover whole world. And the other thing that I want to ask you, you actually mentioning about underlying data, and what underlying data you actually utilize for your program.
Mm-hmm. So the use cases we aim to, or the data visualizations we're aiming for, are numerous and basically depend on the city and what data they're trying to visualize. So in open data, programs that many cities, for example, in Germany, are doing is traffic visualization, pedestrian traffic visualization, temperature, wind, inundation and flooding, as well as any kind of weather simulation as well. And going from there, there's also, for example, photovoltaic potential. So solar, how much solar power could you put on our digital twin models? And then can you model how much of the general energy system could be supplied by photovoltaic on roofs? Would be a specific use case we're tackling with our software.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Also from my side, Frederick and Team Skilltree, you can now hide from the stage. I will help you. And I want to thank all of your participants and all of your teams for the effort and for the pitches we've seen today. Now the jury is about to discuss and evaluate the results and announce the one winning team of this challenge. So we'll go backstage. I'll just go and see what the jury will say, and then afterwards we'll come back and stay in this. You can stay in at this stage, or you can also go. I mean, it might take some time. So latest at 4 p.m. I would ask you to come back to the stage, and then you'll hear the announcement. So that being said, have a nice time until then. If you're here, maybe you can just tell us about the experience you had with today's pitch in this session.
Thank you, Lydia. Oh, it was a great experience to hear from so many inspiring ideas and projects and activities that these 5 different projects are going through in different parts of the world. So I'm very happy that I have been sharing with you this stage, and I have been listening to your initiatives. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So we had a long discussion discussing all the teams, and to be fair, there was so many positive aspects that we could find with all of the teams today that were pitching. But now I don't want to make you any more nervous than you are already. So I would ask Carol to just tell and announce the winning team of this challenge.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Caroline Blenman, and I'm from RCC St. George's, a regional entity within the UNFCCC Secretariat. So on behalf of the organizers of the Innovate2030, an initiative which seeks to promote greater advocacy for SDG11 sustainable cities and communities, as well as the 3 judges from different branches of the UNFCCC Secretariat, we would like to thank all teams for their participation in stage 3 of this event, which seeks to enhance climate resilience. And the overall winner for this stage is CI Herb, whose presentation was delivered by his team member, Mr. Evandro Holtz, and they sought to develop a disaster management tool, risk management tool, to address urban challenges via the application of accessible and affordable solutions. So congratulations to Team CI Herb.
Congrats. Also from my side, I can even invite you to the stage, Evandro. Let me see. So you can join us for a second. This is at least the most personal congrats we can give you virtually. So
amazing, thank you.
To you and for your team, you did great. And also convinced our jury today.
All right, thank you very much. We really appreciate, of course, your feedback. And once again, I think I was the one that wrote in the chat in the main event at first that I think for me the most amazing experience. I mean, the most amazing part of this experience was actually to learn from all of the other amazing work that the other companies and startups are doing. So we definitely got a lot of inspiration from that. And of course, we're very happy to partake this and go move forward now with the finalists.
Right. So for you, it's not over. You'll be pitching again, a different audience, a broader audience, and then a different jury you'll be seeing. So congrats on that. To all the other teams, thank you for participating. Thank you for your pitches. They were all very nice, very positive, inspiring, and also empowering for us as the audience, saying. So for now, I'll close the stage. The winning team, CIR, you have your sparring session with the challenge provider. Right afterwards, there's a specific stage for that. All the others, take your break, and we'll see all of you at the main stage later on, because all the teams can win the social media prize, which is also, I guess, €1,000. So let's keep on watching and cheering on the other teams. I'll say thank you to all the judges, to Carla, to oh, sorry, my screen just went off. To Carol, to Gunyai, thank you for all that you did and your contribution, for your questions and your time with us. See you later, and bye until then.